Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. So glad to be here with you for this daily practice, calling it the morning daily devotional based on 365 Science of Mind, a year of wisdom from Ernest Holmes. I'd love to know where you're watching from. I've already received messages from far and wide, from Canada to Europe, all over the United States into Central America. And I love watching throughout the day how people join us later on in their time zone. And you're welcome to let your friends know about this. I leave the recordings up so that anyone can watch throughout the day. So thank you. This morning is the 10th of January. And the topic is I accept the divine gift. And it begins with saying something very important that is nuanced, complicated, and easily misunderstood. It says affirmative prayer means that we clear the mind of all doubt and fear and turn in faith to the great giver of life. Now, the first phrase in that sentence, affirmative prayer, means affirmative prayer is spiritual mind treatment. It is the style of praying from Centers for Spiritual Living that is like a meditation, and it is rooted in affirmative statements about the spiritual truth. Here's the part that is important. Affirmative prayer goes hand in hand with affirmative action. One does not displace the other, because otherwise it could lead to a kind of spiritual bypass, a denying of what's going on. That's so important. I'll give you an example. Just recently, I was out walking my beautiful dog Quentin, who is probably going to start snoring in just a moment. And it was raining. And off we were out on the sidewalks walking, and it had been raining so much that it was slippery. And don't you know, Quentin is very well behaved except when he sees a squirrel, and then it's the end of all knowledge and all sense, and he dashed off, and he pulled me right off of my feet. I mean, he's a big dog. And there I went, sprawling, flat on my face on the sidewalk, and I hurt my hand, I got a big old cut in my hand. As soon as I got up, I found myself going to affirmative statements. I'm whole, perfect, and complete, because I've been trained now for that to be my first response. But anybody looking at my hand could tell that one was an affirmative statement and the other one was a reality that I was dealing with. So even though I was saying to myself, all is well, I am well, my body is stimulated, guided by the divine gift of creative intelligence, I knew that I had to take affirmative action for my hand. I had to. The first thing I had to do was clean it, make sure all the grit and grime was out of it. And then the strangest thing, my hand started to swell up, So of course the mind, oh, what have I done? It's broken, it's this, it's that. So I began again to say, I'm whole, perfect, and complete. There's a power within me that knows the way. But I coupled that with affirmative action. I called the doctor, showed on the screen what was going on, and had a consultation and did the right thing and took the right medication. So it's very important to understand that affirmative prayer exists simultaneously with every other healthy action we take, whether that's for my mental health, my emotional health, societal health, physical health. For example, if my mind is persistently worried or bitter or having frightening thoughts, it's completely appropriate to use affirmative prayer and then to partner that with help. Just last year I was having persistent, what should I call it, bitter thoughts about a situation, and no doubt about it, it was getting the better of me. So while I was doing my affirmative prayer, I got professional help. And the counselor, the therapist, helped me talk to those voices that inside of me that were causing me distress, so that they could be integrated and not denied. So it's very important for me to say that when we read this first sentence together. This is talking about in spiritual practice, like we are doing right now. It is completely appropriate for us to clear the mind. Affirmative prayer means that we clear the mind of all doubt and fear and turn in faith to the great giver of life. Beautiful. It means that we become aware of the presence of God within and around us, here and now. It means that we affirm this presence and accept it quietly, calmly, and peacefully. And we accept it in all of its fullness. So let us take a moment then and to think about the giver of life. A word that comes to mind is unconditional. Like the sun that causes its light to shine on all. Life just is. It exists in its fullness, permanently revealing itself through its creation. It is a presence that I feel closer than my neck vein, in my breath, above me, below me, around me, within me. I move in it, I live in it, I breathe in it, I think in it, which is why it's appropriate for me to say, and I invite you to join me, I am it, or I am of it, I am from it, and nothing can separate me. That's why it is called the friend within. That's why it is thought of as the tabernacle of the Most High within, the temple, the sacred place within, the most intimate place of my connection. And from this awareness then, I make these statements of prayer. I now let go of every anxious thought. I now surrender any doubt or fear into the great heart of love. I look out upon the world and say that it is my world because it is God's world. I think of all people as my friends because they live and move and have their being in the Father of us all, and I prefer to say in the power that creates all, because I prefer gender inclusive language. I now receive confidence and inspiration from this source of life. I believe that love is guiding me. I believe in the divine power that goes before me and makes perfect my way in joy and happiness. I believe this power is flowing through me, and it flows through me to the joy and happiness of those around me. I have faith. I have conviction. I have assurance, and it cannot be moved, because I am firmly planted in love, divine love, a love that envelops everything I contact and every person I meet. I have within me a friend, one that knows all my needs. I accept that the life that this inner friend has implanted in me is perfect. And this life reaches out to everything around me. And it reaches out with gladness and joy. And it assures me from within that all is well. And believing that the divine is love, I declare that there is not a thing in me, nothing in me, that could hurt or harm or hinder those around me from entering into their own fullness, into their own wholeness, into their own creative self-expression, into their own joy, into their well-being. Every word spoken from the page into my heart resonates with something true in me, strikes a chord of celebration, lifts up my gaze with appreciation and welcome. I sit for a moment in this attitude of thank you. And I complete this prayer by saying, and so it is. We are reading together 365 Science of Mind. And if you have it and are reading along with me, you may notice that I will sometimes change words to select words that work well for my understanding, and it's appropriate to do that you yourself. Indeed, whenever I am saying what I say in prayer, I trust that you are adapting it for you. Because there is no expectation that you and I and every other being on the planet will agree or have the same need or the same expression. We will, each of us, understand the perfection of the divine in our own unique way, and that is a beautiful thing. And that is the foundation of diversity, and that's why it is so blessed to expose ourselves to different opinions, different ways of living, different ways of understanding the divine, so that we stay alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic, engaged, and enthralled by the divine gift that today we are accepting. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, January 11th. And thank you for letting me know where you are tuning in from. I've been watching, and it's a delight to see you here with me today. I'm going to close my book, turn the lights down even more, and sit quietly for a moment before I embrace the day, and I invite you to do the same with me.